One bed, two vows, a mirror you cannot escape. You call it love, home. Yet your chest tightens before dinner. Your voice drops in the hallway. Your smile freezes at the doorframe. You study their face to breathe. They ask, "Are you okay?" You say, "I'm fine." A small lie, a ritual, a thread that strangles by night. You feel invisible in the place that should see you most. You clean the kitchen and swallow a scream. You make a joke and bury a bruise. You praise peace while your ribs hold a storm. You blame work. You blame timing. You blame your skin. But the mirror stays. It waits in their eyes. It waits in the silence after a sharp word. It waits when you turn from your own reflection. Do you notice how you perform? The pleasant one, the strong one, the quiet one who never asks. Do you notice how your body tells the truth your mouth will not? The stiff shoulders, the shallow breath, the heartbeat that sprints when the keys turn in the lock. You wonder why marriage drains you, yet you cannot leave. Because that door does not open outward, it opens inward, into rooms you sealed years ago. Into a child who learned to tiptoe around thunder, into a face you exiled for being too much. Look closely. The crack in the mirror is your name. The echo in the hall is your own voice returning. The cold distance is the space you keep between you and yourself. You are not broken. You are divided. You are not unloved. You are unseen by the one inside. You are not lost. You are living as someone who is not you, and the truth you avoid will ask to be named next. Very soon now, under the quiet surface, truth breathes. You wake beside them, you eat at the same table, you share the same roof, yet often you feel oceans apart. Why? Because marriage does not collapse from lack of love. It collapses from the weight of shadows, from wounds carried in silence, from ghosts you did not know still lived inside you. Every small argument is not about the dishes, the bills, the chores. It is about a wound reopened, a fear triggered, a childhood echo rising again. You think you are fighting your partner. You are fighting your own reflection. Jung wrote, "We do not marry only the person. We marry their past, and we bring our own past too. Two histories meeting at the altar. Two invisible families standing behind every I do. You think you stood alone that day, but whole generations stood with you. This is why the same fights repeat. Why one word cuts too deep. Why silence can feel like rejection. Because your partner does not just see you now. They awaken the one you were before, the abandoned child, the one overlooked at the dinner table, the one who felt small when others spoke louder. You try to blame them. You call them distant, cold, controlling. But behind your accusation hides a truth. You are angry not only at them. You are angry at the part of you that still aches, at the need that never felt safe to voice. Marriage is the sharpest mirror. It reveals what friendship can ignore. It exposes what strangers cannot touch. It pulls from you every secret you thought was buried. And when the mirror shows you something ugly, your instinct is to smash it, to shout, to withdraw, to punish. But smashing the mirror does not erase the face. It only multiplies the fragments. Now you bleed on shards of your own making. Perhaps this is why so many couples grow bitter. They believe the problem is the other. They never suspect that the pain they feel is an invitation to turn inward, to listen, to see what wants to be healed. What if every frustration is a signal? What if every argument is a voice from your depths? What if your partner's flaw is the doorway to your own shadow? Then marriage is not only companionship, it is initiation, not only romance but revelation, the place where the unconscious demands to be known. And the quiet truth is this: you did not choose them by accident. Something in you recognized something in them. A key found its lock. A shadow found its mirror. Now the question waits. Will you dare to look? Will you dare to meet yourself where love has brought you? Because the mirror never lies. It only waits until you are ready. Until you whisper yes. The shadow does not knock. It barges in. It speaks through slammed doors, through the silence that chills the bed, through words you wish you could swallow back. Marriage calls the shadow forward like no other bond, because the closer you stand to someone, the harder it is to hide. Their presence burns away your mask. Their love exposes your wounds. Their disappointment wakes the ghosts you thought were gone. You see your partner's flaws first. You call them selfish, cold, too demanding, too weak. But pause. Ask yourself, why does this hurt so much? Why does it sting deeper than it should? Because their flaw is not only theirs, it is yours too. The shadow you rejected now walks in front of you. When you rage at them, you rage at the mirror. When you despise them, you despise what you cannot admit in yourself. You hate their anger? Look closer. Your own anger simmers beneath your smile. You despise their neediness? Beneath your armor lives a child, starved for attention. You mock their ambition? Inside you hides the same hunger you never allowed to breathe. Jung whispered, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to understand ourselves." In marriage, this is no philosophy. It is daily fire. Your partner is not only spouse. They are mirror. They are stage where your shadow performs in full light. It is tempting to say, they are the problem. But what if they are the messenger? The dark twin holding your reflection to your face. Think of the arguments that never end. The same script, the same pain, like a circle without exit. That is the shadow demanding recognition. It will not release you until you name it, until you stop pointing outward and dare to look inward. The shadow's voice is raw. It says, "See me, hold me, stop pretending I am not here." You fear that if you face it, you will lose yourself, but the opposite is true. If you keep running, you lose even more. You live half a life, a hollow marriage, a love full of ghosts. Imagine standing before a cracked mirror, the reflection distorted. You want to smash it, but smashing only multiplies the cracks. The only way forward is to trace the fracture lines with your own hand, to say, "This too is me. This too belongs." Your partner is not the enemy. They are the mirror bearer, the one brave or foolish enough to stand so close that your mask cannot hold. Without them, you might never see. Without them, the shadow might sleep forever. But in this house, in this marriage, the shadow rises each day, at breakfast, at midnight, in laughter, in tears. It rises until you listen. So the question becomes, will you keep fighting the mirror, or will you listen to the voice beneath the anger, beneath the hurt, beneath the endless blame? Because the shadow has only one desire, to be seen, to be loved back into wholeness. And marriage is the furnace where that impossible task is set before you. This is not punishment. It is invitation. To walk deeper into yourself through the doorway of another's eyes. And once you dare, you will discover the shadow was never here to destroy your love. It was here to make it real. What if the betrayal you fear is not from them, but from you? What if the loneliness you feel in their arms is not proof of their absence, but of your own exile? You stare at your partner, waiting for them to change, to soften, to hold you as you wish. Yet the ache grows sharper, the silence heavier, the mirror colder. Pause here. Consider this. Every wound you accuse them of causing might be the wound you abandoned in yourself. They ignore you, or is it you who stopped listening to your own need? They criticize you, or is it your inner voice, sharp and cruel, finally echoing back? They fail to see you, or have you long turned away from the one within who begs to be seen? This is the anchor, the point you cannot turn from, the truth that grips your chest and refuses to release. Your partner may not be the villain. They may be the messenger, the mirror, and the pain you carry may not be proof of love's failure, but of the shadow calling. So ask yourself, will you keep demanding they change the reflection, or will you dare to step closer to the glass, to face the one waiting inside? Because until you do, the mirror will not shatter. It will only sharpen. It will only follow you deeper. The door looks small, ordinary, harmless. Yet when it opens, you feel the ground shift. You step through and you are no longer in the marriage you thought you knew. You are in the cellar, the underworld of your soul. This is where marriage truly lives. Not in romance, not in vows spoken under flowers, but here beneath the door. Every sigh you swallow, every secret resentment, every memory you wanted to erase, they live here. And your partner is the one who holds the key. You think they are cruel. You think they pushed the knife too deep, but the blade was planted long ago. Childhood, family, a time when your voice cracked but no one listened. A time when you learned to hide your hunger, your fear, your anger. Marriage does not invent this pain, it awakens it. That is why the fights repeat, the same script, the same wounds, again and again. Because the unconscious does not care for politeness. It will keep knocking until you open, until you walk down into the cellar. Jung called it projection. You project what is unseen in you onto them. You do not just love them, you love the image you cast. You do not just hate them, you hate the shadow you see reflected. Anima, animus, the inner figures of the psyche. The inner man inside a woman. The inner woman inside a man. We project them outward, onto the beloved, onto the spouse. We think they are our savior. We think they will heal the absence. But sooner or later, illusion cracks. The real person emerges. Flawed, human, imperfect. And you feel betrayed. But they did not betray you. You betrayed yourself by mistaking projection for truth, by asking another to hold the weight of your inner figure. This is the brutal truth beneath the door. Your marriage is not only with them. It is also with your own unconscious. Every time you accuse them, you stand before your own wound. They seem distant? Look inward. Where have you abandoned yourself? They seem controlling? Where have you silenced your own voice? They seem cold? Where do you turn away from your own longing? The cellar whispers. Stop blaming. Start listening. It is easier to run. Easier to close the door and pretend. Many do. They choose numbness over fire. They polish the surface, smile at parties, and hide the screaming silence at night. But the unconscious waits, patient, relentless. You cannot trick it. Marriage drags you back into the same arguments, into the same ache, until you face what lies beneath. Picture this: two people standing above a trap door, Each carries their childhood in a box. They marry, thinking they hold only hands, but slowly the boxes slip open. Shadows spill out, forgotten cries, old betrayals, hunger, shame. The cellar fills with ghosts, and both point fingers. You did this. No, you did. They fight the ghosts as if they belong to the other, but the truth is merciless. Every ghost is your own. The partner is only the mirror bearer. They shine the light that makes the ghosts visible. Without them you might have lived blind, but with them you cannot unsee. So what now? Step down, beneath the door. Enter the cellar with eyes open. Notice the voices, hear the echo of your mother's sigh, your father's anger, the loneliness of the child you were, the shame that curled in your bones. Do not run, do not deny, listen. This is not easy. It feels like dying, and in a sense it is. The death of illusion, the death of projection, the death of the false story that your spouse was the cause of all your pain. But in this death something stirs, a flicker, a hidden jewel among the dust. Because the shadow is not only monster, it is treasure. Beneath the door you find strength you never claimed, anger that can turn into courage, longing that can ripen into tenderness, creativity locked away in shame. The unconscious does not only hide wounds, it hides gold. And marriage, by forcing you into the cellar, gives you access. This is why Jung called individuation a kind of alchemy. You are lead, heavy, dark, impure. The furnace of relationship heats you until the dross burns away, until the hidden gold glows. Marriage is not here to make you comfortable. It is here to make you whole. Think of the arguments again, the nights of silence, the sting of words. They are not random. They are ritual fires. They burn so that you may be transformed, but you must choose. Will you see your spouse as enemy or as priest holding the mirror? Will you curse the cellar, or will you dare to descend and meet the one waiting? Many turn back. They prefer fantasy. They cling to romance. They want the projection to last forever. But illusions rot. They collapse. And then bitterness grows. Others dare the descent. They face the shadow. They weep. They rage. They confront the child within. And slowly, painfully, they rise. Not with the same marriage, not with the same self, but with something more real. Beneath the door lies the initiation, the trial, the crucible. Your partner is not here to complete you. They are here to reveal you. When you understand this, the fights change. The silence becomes a teacher. The wound becomes a map. You stop asking, why are they like this? You begin asking, what in me is being shown? And that question shifts everything. It does not make marriage easy, but it makes it meaningful. Because now the cellar is not punishment. It is passage, and you realize the only way out is in. Fire. That is what marriage becomes when illusion cracks, not a gentle warmth, a furnace. You stand inside it, trembling, unsure if you will survive. This is the ritual, not the ceremony with flowers and rings, not the vows spoken under soft music. The true ritual begins after, when the shadow rises, when projections collapse, when the mirror refuses to turn away. Transformation is never polite. It burns, it strips, it humiliates. Yet without it, love stays shallow. Without it, you remain split, trapped, half alive. Marriage is alchemy, two souls thrown into fire, each carrying lead, lead of childhood wounds, lead of fear, lead of rage buried too deep. The furnace of intimacy heats the lead until it screens, until it cracks, until the hidden gold inside begins to show. But first, the burning. You think love will comfort, instead it confronts. Your spouse says a word, it cuts you open. Old pain spills out. You accuse them, they accuse you. Flames rise. You want to escape. Yet something in you whispers, stay. Why? Because the fire is not here to kill. It is here to purify. Jung called this individuation, the process of becoming whole. It does not happen in comfort. It happens in conflict, in confrontation, in nights of silence where you face the stranger inside, in mornings where the same fight repeats until you see the pattern. The ritual is relentless. It does not wait for your readiness. It unfolds the moment you choose closeness, the moment you allow another to see you, because intimacy is dangerous. It strips your defenses. It drags your hidden wounds into the light. Think of ancient rites. The initiate is taken to the dark cave, to the fire, to the place of death. They scream, they resist. But the community holds them. They must endure. They must die to the old self. Only then are they reborn. Marriage is this rite, modern, hidden, yet alive. You enter as who you were. You cannot remain the same. Every fight is a trial. Every reconciliation is a small resurrection. Every moment of despair is a descent, and every moment of forgiveness is a rising. Forgiveness, the hardest fire. Not forgiveness that excuses, not forgiveness that forgets, but forgiveness that accepts the shadow, that says, yes, you hurt me, and yes, I hurt you, because both of us carry wounds we did not choose. Forgiveness that sees the child behind the rage. Forgiveness that mirrors without destroying. In this ritual, you learn. Your partner is not a villain. They are an instrument, a mirror sharpened by love and pain. They show you what you could never see alone. But the ritual also demands surrender. You cannot control the fire. You cannot bend the mirror to flatter you. You must face what is shown. You must die to illusion. This death terrifies. You think, if I accept this, I will lose myself. But no. By resisting, you lose. By surrendering, you gain. The false self burns away. The authentic self emerges. Picture two metals, rough, impure, thrown into the same crucible. The heat melts them. They resist, they scream. But slowly they blend, they fuse, not losing themselves but becoming stronger together. So too with souls in marriage. If both submit to the fire, something new is born. Not you alone, not them alone, but a third presence, the union, the vessel of transformation. Yet beware, not every couple endures. Many flee the fire. They prefer the comfort of surface life. They run from the mirror, they cling to old masks, and so they live beside each other, but never together. Two strangers in one house, two ghosts pretending to be alive. The ritual demands courage. It demands honesty. It demands the willingness to break and to rebuild. Sometimes the fire destroys what cannot be saved. Sometimes marriages end. Yet even in ending, the transformation remains. You cannot unsee the shadow once revealed. You cannot return to sleep once the mirror has spoken. If you accept the ritual, marriage becomes holy ground. Not because it is free of pain, but because pain itself becomes sacred. Every tear a libation, every argument a purification. every embrace a small Eucharist. Here, love matures. No longer intoxication, no longer illusion, but presence, fierce, real, grounded in the knowledge that both of you are broken, both of you are mirrors, both of you are alchemists burning in the same fire. And in that fire, you find tenderness. Not naive tenderness, mature tenderness, the kind that knows darkness and still chooses light. The kind that sees flaws and still chooses closeness. This is the gift of the ritual. Wholeness, not perfection. Wholeness, the integration of shadow, the acceptance of the inner child, the union of anima and animus, the awakening of the self that hides behind all roles. Marriage becomes a temple. Every fight an offering. Every kiss an initiation. Every silence a test. Every act of compassion a small miracle. You may think, too heavy, too mystical, but watch couples who endure, truly endure. You will see the glow in their eyes, not innocence, depth. They have walked through fire. They have been broken and remade. They carry scars, but their love is strong. This is what it means when marriage transforms. Not comfort, not romance, but a lifelong rite of passage. You walk together into the furnace, again and again, each time dying, each time reborn. And slowly, painfully, gloriously, you become whole. At last the mirror softens, the fire cools. You stand not burned, but cleansed. You see your partner, not as savior, not as enemy, but as companion, a mirror, a guide, a flawed soul who dared to walk beside your flaws. In their eyes, you glimpse something startling. Yourself. Not the mask, not the broken child, the soul. The one who has waited behind every fight, the one who whispered through every silence, the one who begged to be found. Marriage has called it forth, roughly, fiercely, tenderly. Now you know you were never unloved. You were unseen by yourself. Now the eyes of the other have taught you to look inward, to meet the one you abandoned, to hold them, to call them home. The soul answers when you stop running. It answers when you dare to face the shadow without fear. It answers when you accept love not as perfection, but as presence. This is the real vow, not the words spoken in the ceremony, but the vow lived in the fire, the vow to see, to stay, to call forth the soul again and again. Your partner is not your completion. They are the mirror that points you back to completion within. And so you stand, not as half, not as fractured, but as whole. You breathe, you whisper, the soul is here. You close the door, not to escape, but to carry what you have seen. The mirror remains. You no longer fear it. You know now it was never your enemy. It was your invitation. You walk beside your partner, the same face, the same voice. Yet everything is different because you see more. You see the child behind their anger. You see the fear behind their silence. And you see your own reflection in both. This changes how you touch them, how you speak, how you forgive, not because they are perfect, but because you have met your own imperfection and lived. The next step is not grand. It is simple, daily, small gestures done with new eyes, listening without defense, speaking without masks, holding without demand. It is a choice, again and again, to remain before the mirror, to remain in the fire, to remain present when the shadow rises. One day you will look back. You will realize marriage was never only about two people. It was about the self, the greater soul calling you home. So take the step, quiet, steady. Trust that every moment of pain can be turned into light. Trust that every wound is also a door. And remember, when you look into your partner's eyes, you are not only seeing them, you are seeing yourself, the clearest mirror you will ever know.